Let's do Wannabe Gangster. It has more views.
Gangsters are supposed to be seen as tough thugs with little regard for the law. But what happens when fake gangsters are faced with real prison time?
Fake gangsters.
These are 3 never-before-seen examples of when wannabe gangsters realizing they'll be serving prison time.
I like the setup of his videos. It's like he groups them up in these different ways, and you got like boom, boom, boom. That's it. I like it. I'm into this. Dr. Insanity. All right. Okay.
Starting with the case of 18-year-old Conrad Troa, who in September of 2010 was leaving school when he was approached by a man holding a handgun. Conrad was ordered to take off his bag and hand it over, but when he refused, he was shot in the chest by the man. Miraculously, Conrad managed to stumble away from the scene and call for help before collapsing and dying on the spot.
He said it miraculously, so I thought he didn't die, and then he did die. Weird choice of words.
Suspect fled immediately, but was later identified as Tavion Wilcox, who was brought in for attempted murder. But as it turns out,
Ed
he wasn't all that tough in the interrogation room.
Alright, here's the deal. You know something else happened. I don't sit here and talk to you without knowing what the deal is. We've been looking at video. I didn't bring you up here because you weren't wearing your seatbelt, okay? You got arrested for a burglary before and they didn't even bring you up here. Obviously, it's something a little more serious.
Wilcox is trying to remain calm and pretend as though he's got no idea what this is all about. Little does he know, his getaway driver had also been...
I do think speaking less is probably the move, right? A lot of these people have issues with speaking way too much, yeah?
...apprehended and confessed to everything. Now the detective just has to find a...
Dang, sold out. Sold out. Not that he shouldn't be, but still, sold out.
...way to get him to confess as well.
This is going to go one of 2 ways. You're either going to be a guy who made a mistake, hanging around the wrong place, the wrong time, did something dumb, or you're going to be a guy that goes out and likes to shoot people for fun, okay? Listen, and before you say anything, I think you're a guy that made a mistake. I know you were there, okay? I know what happened.
He's going in hard, this investigator, you know? I'm wondering if there was some conversation that happened before this point, or if he just was like, yeah, I got it, I'm just gonna nail him. Just coming in hot.
I've talked to the victim. The victim's picked you out of a photo lineup and said, that's the guy that shot me, okay? Here's the deal. I don't think you shot that guy because you're a bad person. You didn't mean to kill that guy, okay? What happened?
See, that's a good tactic, because you're trying to get them to claim the action, but you're trying to give them that out without the guilt of being like, you're a bad person. But he doesn't actually think that. I think he does think he's a bad person, but you say that because it makes them a little more willing to admit to that, right? Because it feels a little less heavy.
He started fighting with you and you got scared.
So y'all saying I shot someone?
I know you shot somebody.
Imagine you're an 18-year-old kid who got in over their head and ended up shooting...
He's 18. That makes this so much sadder. So young to just ruin your whole life, you know? I mean, you don't feel as bad for him as the guy that literally died, obviously, but just the whole thing. I mean, it's just tragedy on both sides, right? Ugh.
And killing an innocent civilian.
Ugh.
No matter who you are, you'll be feeling scared. A feeling that'll only be amplified when a police officer asserts that they know exactly what happened. Wilcox will be feeling rattled now. As the cop talks, he's slumped over in his...
Dude looks huge. Like, he does not look like a teenager. I thought this guy was like 30. My gosh.
...chair, implying he's interested in what the cop is saying, and as soon as he's allowed to talk, all his responses sound confused and even bewildered. The cop knows he has him on the back foot. Now he just needs to close it out.
You're 18, right? You're 18, yes?
Yeah.
This is where you need to stand up and be a man and admit you made a mistake. I know you weren't trying to...
That's why he's going in so hard, because he's young. Makes a lot more sense. Makes a lot more sense.
kill that guy. I know that, because you're not the kind of guy that does that. You panicked. You got scared. You got in over your head.
Giving him the
victim's making
outs.
you out to be
Giving
this
him the
stone
excuses.
cold, just straight up thug killer. Guy that doesn't give a crap about anybody else. All right?
Is that crap? Did they bleep out crap?
If If you keep going down the path you're going down, telling me you didn't have anything to do with it, it's not you, who are people going to believe? Are they going to believe you or are they going to believe the victim? They're going to have to believe the victim because you didn't give me your side of the story.
Wow. What a sneaky way to convince him to talk, right? It's very sneaky.
Wilcox is being pushed into a corner. The detective is using the facts that he knows Wilcox is just in over his head, but is using language in such a way that makes him feel like he's accused of being this cold-blooded monster.
A guy that sits there like you is not a guy that goes around and kills people. You understand what I'm saying? You have remorse. You're sorry. I can see it on you. You just need to take that next step. What happened in that parking lot?
The whole thing is sad. This whole thing
happen?
sucks.
Huh? I can't. What'd you say?
In a breakdown that's far from gangster, Wilcox starts to cry and laments on how he absolutely can't go back to jail. The detective...
I don't know. I don't like the tone of this video, maybe, you know? Like, he's not really a gangster. Look at him crying. I'm like, his whole life is wrecked and ruined, you know? Of course you're
uses this moment of
gonna be
vulnerability to
upset.
press
What
him
the?
further and tells
You know?
him he has one last opportunity to be honest and let everybody know that he...
I have a lot easier time going after, like, a Karen, you know what I mean? A lot of them are, like, older, you know what I mean? So they've been hardened to their Karen ways. Very much through, like, entitlement type vibes. But, like, with this, it feels a little bit worse. I think because it's sad, you know? Like, because they're young. I think that part is sad.
Isn't the monster they think he is.
Do you say, stop hitting me or I'm going to shoot you? Or anything like that?
I was like, I had my hand like right here.
Where'd you hit him?
I didn't even know I hit him.
Okay. So you fired that one round. What happened?
I just froze up.
You just froze up?
And just like that, Octavian Wilcox confessed to shooting Conrad Troa and was sentenced to life in prison, all over a school bag. But while he'll be spending the rest of...
Oh, see... That's what makes it so sad. It's just over something so trivial and stupid, you know? I guess it's very similar to like a road rage incident, you know? Where it just escalates to such an extreme level and it's like a runaway train. Just tragic.
Of his life in prison, Demetrius Cox wasn't so lucky. Throughout the beginning of 2020, a war between rival gangs 438 and AFNF began to break out. Many shootings were reported with dozens of deaths attributed to just these two gangs, with one of these occurring on the 14th of April. Shots were fired at a house party in Davenport, Florida, resulting in the death of 20-year-old Wolf Luma. The killer was identified almost immediately as Demetrius Cox, also 20 years old. 2 weeks later, Cox was brought in on the suspicion
Pretty young guys, again.
of murder, and an interrogation began, ending in one of the most shocking moments in interrogation history.
Dang, dude.
Sure, I do.
You can say Mary? I
can.
And I didn't shake your hand before because we weren't able to. but
Shocking
now we're getting it.
moments.
Yes, sir.
What does that mean?
Number one, I gotta tell you, I'm pretty impressed of the way just overall, your persona as it is.
Yes, sir.
So I appreciate the respect. It's gonna be given right back to you, okay?
Okay.
Cox starts the interrogation out respectfully, but as the interview continues, he starts to annoy the detective by withholding information.
Even with little details like that, like, who cares? Well, if Papa J's there, why can't you just be honest and say, yeah, he was there. He was chilling.
We hung out.
So
But I got another question.
See, I feel like gang interactions though change everything. You know what I mean? So it's like hard. It's harder to follow this video, especially when he pointed out these are like legitimate, like gang members. You know, they're not wannabe gangsters. He literally is in a gang. You know.
Once they were like hard about the truth.
What's interesting about this case, though, is that the cop actually isn't 100% sure that Cox is the killer. As Cox mentions earlier, most of the evidence in the case is hearsay, and detectives could have a hard time using it in court.
If you tell me the truth, I will believe you. Listen to
I'm
what I'm
listening to
saying.
you, but you're not letting me. You
Listen
gotta
to
break
me.
it down for me. Please
Listen
just
to
break it
me.
down.
Listen to me.
I told you all I know.
Some bad happened, man. Some bad
I understand what
And
you're
I don't think
saying.
that you forced it. I don't think that you or your buddies or anybody else, well, maybe you're running your mouth a little bit, but it wasn't justified what happened, okay?
Eventually, the detective decides that he's not going to get anything else out of Cox and calls off the interrogation. But that's not where the case ends. In fact, the most interesting but tragic part happened just hours after the interrogation was held. Later that day, Cox was released on bail, but 11 hours later, he was shot and killed by another gang member.
Ah, that is so sad. But then again, I'm like, this isn't a wannabe gang situation. This just is a gang situation, and it's so tragic and sad. It sounds like he didn't even sell anyone out, but he still got killed probably for assuming that he did. I guess? This one just makes me sad.
Put it together in his interrogation and preserved his gangster image. The same cannot be said for Cody Foren Cam, a gangster whose crime was littered with errors and stupidity from the very start. After his phone was stolen at a convenience store.
Yeah, see, I don't even like the way he said about the gangster image and stuff, because that guy was just involved in gang stuff. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't doing it to be cool. At least that's not my impression. I think he was just in it. I don't really like that part of this video, I don't think.
Cody went on a tyrannical rampage around his area looking for any signs of the stolen device. Surveillance footage captured him walking past 15-year-old Deshaun Hills, pulling a gun from his backpack and firing 3 shots at the boy, killing him instantly. Witnesses and surveillance footage helped police identify Cody almost immediately, and he was quickly brought in for interrogation.
So weird.
You know, what I just did with the people yesterday, these motherfuckers was able to do this to me.
Okay.
Look how they do me. They just kicked my mom's door open, man.
Well, they didn't kick your mom's door open.
Yeah, they did, man.
Oh.
Like I said, man, I ain't about that.
Okay, you're
I
not.
don't gang bang. I don't do, you know what I mean? I ain't with the guns.
Cody here is referring to a search warrant that was used by police to gain access to his mother's house and collect evidence.
You're involved with this murder. You've told people. You've told people. That's why you're here. That's why you're not in Minneapolis.
He was bragging. Bragging about it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not here to lie to you, though.
I ain't
Why
lying.
would I lie to you?
I ain't buying.
You're on video.
Cody had been walking around the area asking people if they saw the person that took his phone and aggressively confronting people that he suspected. He was also clearly seen on surveillance footage
weird.
at multiple stores and businesses in the Minneapolis area.
People for sure don't think about how many cameras exist. For sure don't think about that. Especially if you're outside. Because I think a lot of people would be like, I didn't go inside anywhere.
Ooh. They all done talking about some goofy shit that I don't
Goofy?
know about.
It's a murder.
Some goofy shit.
It's a murder.
Some goofy shit. Like, if you ask me what I ate for dinner, I might not remember.
Also take a look at Cody's language and demeanor in general. Right from the start, he's been defensive and attempting to combat every single thing the detectives have said to him. Instead of respectfully listening to their points and trying to give counters to the cops' evidence, he either talks over them or just says, I don't believe you. If Cody was innocent, he'd likely be doing everything he can to stay on the cops' good side and help them out by providing evidence that would acquit him.
See, I don't know if that's true either, though. Like, if you felt like you were being wrongly accused of something, I don't know if you would be like, let's figure this out together. I wouldn't feel like he was on my side if he was, like, accusing me of something. You know what I mean?
And as it turns out, he was about to start providing evidence. Evidence that would send him straight to jail.
Oh, you was at Wally's?
To jail.
Wally's,
I
absolutely.
was by Wally's.
You were?
But y'all don't know the
So angry. Look at him.
story.
Well, tell me.
The motherfucker supposed to be in the motherfucking face, stole my phone, all that stupid shit. That don't mean I pulled the motherfucking trigger.
When did you
I
get
ain't-
jumped, or when did you get your stuff robbed? Cody, so somebody jumped you for your phone, right? Did they get anything else from you? Or did you have money? Did you have...
ID. Man, check it out. All you want tomorrow.
Too many details. Too many details. They're asking too many specific questions. He's like, I don't want to talk about any of that stuff.
But it was already too late. With the evidence they already had, plus what essentially amounted to a full confession, Cody was found guilty of murder and sentenced to 38 years behind
38 years.
bars.
Dang. Dang. That was some Dr. Insanity. I've never watched that channel before. pretty great.